Okay, so it seems like we have an update on the whole kson VShojo stuff. If you guys saw my last video, we talked about a video that kson had actually put out talking about some of her situation over at VShojo whenever she was going to Australia, and how essentially they were kind of, preparing to file for bankruptcy and making a lot of the VTubers, count up what they're owed and things like that. And obviously she wasn't very happy at the fact of, how much VShojo were, making them do on their end, not just with this situation. Obviously, a lot of people did mention in the comments that it is kind of their responsibility to kind of figure out how much they owe, but also there's other kind of things, for example, like merchandise and stuff like that, which VShojo have been penning a lot on the VShojo talent with, or the ex-VShojo talent, I should probably say, with them also having to pay to get some of this stuff back, which is pretty crazy. And it seems like, obviously, kson put out a message yesterday, which we all saw, saying that the situation got even worse, so she'll make a video about it again. And obviously, she uploaded that video called "Just When You Thought a VTuber Company Had Fallen to the Depths of Hell, They Showed You Even D." And then obviously, this is part of a vlog thing. She went to like some convention and she implements a little bit of a VShojo segment, which has actually been nicely translated by Arboritai Writing again. So go follow them. I definitely recommend doing that. But yeah, let's take a look, as it's a pretty crazy situation which is going on with VShojo and some of the companies that they're working with.
イベントの2日目の朝になるんですけれども、なんでここで緊急で動画を撮ってるかというと、またね、V 少女、全てがひどすぎて話
Bro just gets interrupted by VShojo with everything now. It's crazy.
にならなくて、どこまでお前ら落ちれるのってぐらい落ちてる V 少女さんなんですけれども、さらにまたわけわかんないことやってて、もうね、もう頭おかしいんじゃないのっていうことがね、いっぱい起きてるんですけど、もうすでにね、タレントに嘘をつきまくり、未払い、タレントに他タレントの悪口を言いまくるとかね、もうそういうことを散々今のところ暴露されてる。
Oh my god, she put up a whole list there. Well, I think that's she did. She put up a whole list. That's crazy. Suspected of obstructing other corpos, giving out gifts only to staff, obstructing the other talents who have left, secretly charging sponsors extra on deals, unpaid commissions, embezzling charity funds, scamming talent over income shares, recruiting new talent to turn them into new victims. That's crazy, bro. More things to keep coming out, apparently.
ひどい、重ねてひどいことが発覚しまして、すでにグッズが発送されない件については皆さんご存知の方もいると思うんですけど、販売したグッズって皆さんが買っていただいて入金されて、
Yeah, which is a situation that we've already, kind of talked about. Obviously, a lot of people aren't getting their merchandise as, fans pay for it. And I think this is going to go down the merchandise road.
送料とかも含めてね、その後皆さんに発送されるんですね。受注生産の場合は注文数に応じて制作するので、V少女今ほぼ潰れてるんですけど、その間にもグッズを販売してるタレントって結構いたんですね。で、グッズ販売します。みんなからお金集めます。で、一部製造とかしてたんですけども、V少女ゴミすぎて、皆さんから集めたお金をもうとっくに使い果たしちゃったから、一部製造とかされてるものをもう発送するお金もないし、その一部以外の本来作らなきゃいけない工場で作ってくださいって言って作らなきゃいけないものを作ってもらうお金ももうすでに使い果たしてるからないっていうね。で、今何が起こってるっていうと、その一部製造して発送できていないグッズっていうのを V 少女が人質にとってタレントにそれを売りつけようとしてるのね。まず意味は
Which, yeah, it's obviously pretty crazy. VShojo have essentially, they've been using up their money, the money that was used for pre-orders before the pre-orders even went out and got shipped to all the people safely, right? They used up all of the money, so they can't actually ship out some of the orders. Now, some of the orders have been made, some of them haven't been made, but at the end of the day, they've used up all of that money, so they can't afford to kind of send it out to anybody. And that's obviously why a lot of the talent recently, including like Giga and people like that, have been telling you to go to your bank and essentially, charge back the money, because you're not going to be getting that much, unless it's from like an outside company. For example, like Apari recently did a drop with ironmouse, which wasn't involving VShojo, then you're going to be fine. But if it's something that you bought off the VShojo store, then yeah, you're going to be absolutely cooked, and potentially the same with other collabs with other companies too. It's mainly the ones that have been bought on the VShojo store, I'm pretty sure. I think any company outside, you could probably kind of ask them about it and see if whether you need to charge back or whether they can give you a refund or whether your merch is still coming if you even want it in the first place. So again, yeah, it is pretty interesting.
わかんないじゃないですか。そもそもそのグッズ ツってすでにファンの人がとっくにお金払ってたものだから、ファンの人に送らなきゃいけないものなのね。送料も含めてファンの人はもうとっくに払ってるわけだから、ファンの人のものなんよ。それをタレントにお前これ欲しいだろ、買えよって言ってきてるわけで、まずその時点で意味わかんないし、でもそのお前のもんじゃないからっていうね、全てのタレントに未払いがあるんですけども、その未払いの分をチャラにしてくれたらこのグッズやるよみたいな取引を持ちかけてるらしくて、さ、お前
Wait, did they actually? Wait, I need to replay that one. Did they actually say that? Every single talent do have some unpaid wages right now. They've been saying if you agree to clear all the unpaid wages, then we'll give you these merch. That's crazy. If that's true, I again, maybe I'm understanding that wrong, but they're essentially saying that, you know, obviously we knew at first they were asking them to buy the merch, which is already crazy to begin with. Having your own ex-talent having to buy the merch because you messed up so badly, and you know, they have to buy it even though even though the customers have paid for the merch itself and paid for the shipping. You've wasted all the money, so now your talent has to do it. But then also saying as well that if they just kind of forget about the unpaid stuff that has happened, then they can give you the merch. Which is crazy to me, because obviously they're trying to obviously clear up the debt, the massive amount of debt that they owe to a lot of these VTubers by saying, we'll give you the merch if you if you say that, you know, you don't need that unpaid kind of pay that they haven't been paying them. And obviously, yeah, it is like a little bit of like a hostage situation here, you know, because obviously, you know, the VTubers, they want their fans to be able to get the merch. They want to be able to ship this out to all the right people, right? But then obviously, you know, they're being kind of held hostage in the fact that they're like, oh, well, you have to give up the fact that we haven't paid you as well, which is just crazy to me. Again, it just makes them look even more scummy.
払わなきゃいけない金をなんで人様から盗んだもので払おうとしてるの？もうこれだけじゃなくてもっとひどいんだよ、みんな。もっとひどいんだよ。まあ、未払いの金額ってタレントによって全然違うんですけど、一部、まあ私の未払いの金額ってそこまで大したお金じゃないから、だったらそれを相殺して、せっかくだからファンの人にね、せめて製造した分だけでもグッズを送ろうかっていう風に考えたタレントが、そのグッズが保管されてる倉庫にどれぐらいのものがあるのかっていうのを確認したいからっていう風に問い合わせたら、その倉庫からV少女さんうちの倉庫の払ってないんで、このグッズ渡せないですよ、それ払うまで。お前らさみたいな、もういい加減にしてくんないっていう。だからもう裏でタレントも本当にブチギレで、お前らどこまで落ちるのっていう完全に。
So essentially what's been going on is, you know, obviously actually says some people in VShojo aren't as owed as much money as some others. For example, like ironmouse, she's owed a ton, obviously with a lot of that being the charity money that they took for her from her. But obviously there's some other talent as well who weren't owed as much money and were actually considering obviously kind of, you know, taking up this offer, because again, it wasn't that much money for them, and they could then get it back from other people, but or get the merch back for other people. So again, that's interesting. But then obviously they went to the merch warehouse and they said, hey, you know, we've come up with this deal. Can I get my merch now? And they're like, oh, they haven't been paying storage fees. So yeah, no, you can't, and you have to pay. Which again, obviously that means now they have to pay another fee on top of that, which obviously I'm assuming VShojo knew, because, you know, they have not been paying the fee that they're supposed to be paying in terms of storage and stuff.
穴の底まで行きかけたのにまだそこあったんだってぐらい地もそこまで落ちてってますね。もう本当にこの状況ってさ、解決するのかな。タレントとしてはやっぱりファンに一番誠実でありたいから、その倉庫代の問題が発覚してからもう右にも切れないじゃんみたいな。とりあえずイベント楽しんでいくか。
So yeah, that's essentially the clip. Obviously, you know, it kind of, as she says in the last video as well, kind of not ruined, but definitely, you know, put an impression on her Australia trip. But yeah, it seems like VShojo are doing even more scummy deals here. I mean, I did not know about that extra deal in terms of, you know, we'll forget about the unpaid payments and then we'll let you have your merch back, but also still having them pay for the merch and the storage of the merch, which again is pretty crazy. So they essentially just kind of scammed them once more. So again, obviously this is some pretty crazy news. This is coming from kson herself. So this isn't like any kind of theory made up by some random dude on the internet. This is kson speaking about this, and obviously I feel like, you know, it's provided a good light on it. And as I said in all my videos, kson has been very transparent with what is going on over at VShojo, which I think is great. And yeah, it seems like this situation has just gotten even worse, especially in terms of the merch. You know, I thought, you know, merch having to be paid by the talent to get sent out and things like Giga was doing was already terrible at the start. You know, I thought that was already a bad thing that was going on, but I think it got even worse with this pretty scummy deal that they're trying to implement as well to get them out of a pretty sticky situation, when in actual fact they should be facing the repercussions for what they've done, you know, over the past couple of years in terms of mishandling the money and everything like that. Because again, they're trying to just wipe it all clean by, you know, using stuff that they know that the VTubers really want, and that is, you know, obviously merch for their fans. And you know, they know that they want that so badly, to the point where some would even obviously consider kind of forgetting about the debt that they owe to them, which is pretty crazy. And obviously, and then on top of that, it's the case of the VShojo have been making those kind of weird deals when in actual fact they knew that they're gonna have to pay anyways, due to the fact of, you know, the warehouse, you know, not being paid storage fees. Now, I don't think it's entirely the warehouse's fault. I think it is obviously VShojo's fault for doing that, because obviously the warehouse has to, you know, store things. They have to get, you know, that's how they make their money, and they're not being paid. So obviously no one's getting it until they do get paid. I think that's fair enough from them, and it's, you know, totally VShojo's fault that that's happened as well. But yeah, it seems like the situation is just getting even worse. Again, I'm glad that kson has spoken out about this, and hopefully, you know, she does continue to speak out about this. And obviously, I'll keep you guys up to date if there's any more clips, anything coming out from kson, because again, these videos are very informative about what is actually going on behind the scenes and things like that. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code KAZ to get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.